Oh, Pressure, don't we have a history together? You know, I think out of all the videos I've made on this game, it's funny because I've never actually sat down and really fully played it, which is weird, you know? The biggest Pressure LARPer is talking about a game that he doesn't play, and here we are, all this time later, and I'm finally reviewing the game that I've given so much time and attention to. So yeah. Let's give an honest review. Pressure as a whole doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel. I mean, we've seen it time before, you know, it's not the first of its kind. It takes inspiration from other games. However, while it doesn't reinvent the concept, it takes that concept at its core and it expands upon it and it makes it so much better and shows the potential that it has as a game genre, which is the Room's horror-like inspired game. And it's that I really want to talk about because that in its own is something special, and they managed to do something special with that. I've seen this comparison so much that Pressure is just a shitty Doors clone. And while I used to think that, I would honestly say now that Pressure has done what Doors could not, and they made a experience that is unlike any other experience that involves this kind of genre. Yes, Doors is, you know, you could say they did it second, or they did it better, or that they have like a specific vibe that they're going for, or maybe it's even more professional. I would honestly say differently. I would say that Pressure does what they do significantly better, and they make the world that they have built feel so much more believable and honestly lovable. And I think that's like the biggest key difference between the two. And that, I think, is an unfair comparison. I think the two games are completely different despite being a part of the same genre. To use a broad example, it's like the equivalent of having to compare CSGO to Call of Duty. Like, they are just completely different games despite being both FPSs, and it's just not a fair comparison. And what I think makes Pressure stand out above the other games in its genre are 1, its passive storytelling, 2, its lore, and 3, this is kind of important, its characters. Kind of going down each of those points that I mentioned and kind of elaborating more on like each of them, the first one being the passive storytelling. This game does that so well, and I mean, the environment is all you really need to know what's going on here. And yes, they do give you an option to read up on the lore. You can go and grab the documents that are, you know, everywhere around the map, but like, you don't even need to do that. The game tells its own story. And that, to me, is really important. Because when you're playing a game, right, and you have to read through documents, or you have to read through certain snippets and different things to really understand the full picture, I think it falls flat versus those games that can just tell a story just by you playing the game. Like, they don't need this additional information for you to understand what's going on. And for that, I think Pressure definitely succeeds in, and as a horror game especially, that is what you need. One of my biggest issues with horror games just in general is that they use passive storytelling as an excuse to be scary rather than to just tell a story. When looking at Pressure in this instance, at its core, it's a horror game. You are sent out to find this power core in this abandoned mile-long facility at the bottom of an ocean, and you're basically forced to do it. You are expendable. That is what you are out to do. You aren't being thrown into the abyss of hell, but you are being thrown into a place that is abandoned. There's no other life around. You are the only person who seems to be alive in this facility, aside from the monsters that are roaming it. And that, I think, is all you really need to play this game. You don't need all of the crazy lore in order to make this game somewhat digestible. It's just a nice appetizer to go with the main course. And that right there is what I think is really special and what really hits the nail on the mark here. With that being said, and getting into my second point, that might seem like backpedaling because I just went on like a 2-minute tangent on how lore isn't important because the passive storytelling does all the heavy lifting. I think the passive storytelling doing all the heavy lifting makes the lore more appetizable, because you want to seek this out now. It's not something that it's just in the background. You want to know why you're here. You want to know why all of these things are happening. Why Sebastian at one point was a human and now he's a big fish monster. And it's that right there that I think some horror games just cannot do. They can make the game feel really scary. They can make the game feel like all this and that. But at the end of the day, if they don't want to make you seek out and know more, I like that kind of defeats the purpose of even including lore, because you got to make it appetizable. You got to make people want to seek that stuff out. And for someone like me who, like I said earlier in this video, doesn't like seeking out these kind of things, is important, because if you can make somebody who doesn't normally seek or want to seek these kind of things out, I think you've done something good, and I think you've done something special, because the lore that is currently in-game is good. It's well written. I like it. It flows well. I haven't gotten and read through all of it because I'm still collecting documents, so, you know, when I finally find them all, I'll be able to give, like, I guess, like a full 100%. Yeah, everything makes sense, but for everything that I've read so far, it all flows, like, together. It flows concurrently. So I don't have any complaints here, and if anything, I just have praise, because, I mean, you managed to get someone who doesn't look at lore to look at the lore. My third and final point that is, I think, the cherry on top of everything is the characters, and goddamn, all these characters are just so lovable, and I mean, they are great. It's something that I really like about this game. For those that were watching the stream last night, I think it's fairly obvious who my favorite character is, judging off of my reaction of meeting them. But, you know, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But regardless, everything kind of combines together. You know, you got the appetizer of the lore, the main entree being the passive storytelling, and the sweet, delectable dessert that is the characters. You get a nice 3-course meal. So with all that being said, and getting into the final honest review score of Pressure, I'm going to have to give Pressure a 8 out of 10. Pressure is by no means a 10 out of 10, but it is still a really great game to either play by yourself with a group of friends, or if you can manage to pull it off in a group of 50 people. There's a variety of different game modes. There's all different kinds of badges and achievements you can get, and as a game overall, it is well made. The world is enjoyable. Everything that goes into the detail, it's all just, it's beautiful. It's a delicious meal. I know this game isn't the newest thing ever, and I know it's been out for quite some time, but considering the history I have with it, it would feel kind of unfair not to give it an honest review, considering everything that's happened so far. So yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Join the Discord, link in the description below if you want to join the community. We do fun things over here, game nights, all that fun stuff, giveaways, and right now we're currently doing an art competition to have a YouTube banner, to have your art as my YouTube banner, and we have a lot of really good prizes. First place is a year subscription of Nitro or $100 in Roblox credit, which is pretty swag and awesome. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya!